I'm Kirk Cameron, and my partner Ray Comfort and I come to you tonight not as molecular biologists or as rocket scientists, but simply as an author and an actor, and we want to do two things that fly in the face of convention. One, we'd like to show you that the existence of God can be proven 100% absolutely without the use of faith. And secondly, as a former atheist myself, an evolutionist, I want to pull back the curtain and show that the number one reason many people do not believe in God is not because of a lack of evidence, but because of a theory that many scientists today consider to be a fairy tale for grown-ups.
Thanks. I want to start off by thanking ABC, Kirk and Ray, and the audience for their participation and ears in a discussion of this magnitude. The Rational Response Squad was formed to respond to irrational claims, and the most widely held irrational claim our planet faces today are those offered by religion. Ray and Kirk have agreed to offer scientific proof that God exists without invoking faith or the Bible, and we're here to respond to those claims.
When I look at a painting, how can I know there was a painter? Well, the painting is absolute 100% scientific proof there was a painter. You can't have a painting without a painter. I don't need faith to believe in a painter. All I need is eyes that can see and a brain that works. And as I said, you might say, well, that's not scientific. What you need is a controlled laboratory testing. It needs to be observed. Okay, we could put a dozen scientists in a laboratory and tell them to observe this painting, and I'm sure after a while they would come to the conclusion that there was a painter that painted the painting. We could repeat the experiment again and again, and they obviously come to the same conclusion. Why? Because the painting is absolute observable proof there was a painter. And exactly the same applies with the existence of God. How do we know God exists? You can't see him, hear him, touch him, taste him, or smell him. Well, creation is 100% scientific proof there was a creator. You cannot have a creation without a creator. You don't need faith to believe in a creator. All you need is eyes that can see and a brain that works. So here we go. We're going to look at some of the commandments, so get ready. Have you ever told a lie? Have you broken that commandment? I'm not talking about discretion. You know, my grandma's 115, and she said, Grandma, you look just gorgeous. I'm not talking about discretion. I'm talking about a bold-faced lie. Have you ever lied? So if you've lied, what does it make you? It makes you a liar. Another commandment, you shall not steal. Have you ever stolen something? Irrespective of its value. If you've taken something that belongs to someone else, then you're a thief. Here's another commandment. You shall not take God's name in vain. Have you ever used God's name in vain? Have you ever used God's name as a cuss word to express disgust? Think about it. God gave you life, and you've taken his holy name and used it in what's called blasphemy, which is very serious. Here's the essence of what I'm saying. If you realize you need God's forgiveness and you seek his forgiveness through the gospel, God himself will reveal himself to you. That is the ultimate proof.
I'm not here to tell you why I don't believe God exists. I'm here to tell you why I believe he failed at his premise to prove that God exists scientifically without invoking the Bible. Most of us know that 10 Commandments are in the Bible, so we probably should leave the building right now. The 10 Commandments were used wholly here as part of his proof. However, he brings up some points. He says that we see this building, we know there was a builder. We see a painting, we know there was a painter. He forgets that we can call the builder of this church. We can check New York City permit records. We can't call God to go visit his universe factory. We can call the painter. We can call the paint maker. We can go to the car factory. But can Ray take us to God's factory to watch creation in action? He claims all creations must have a creator. There's just a huge gaping hole in this argument. It's so obvious. It really doesn't warrant an answer. But most simply put, if all creations need a creator, then what created God? And was that God's God? And was that God's God?
Before this debate, Brian and I had a chance to talk on the phone. I called and we just talked about a couple of details, and I ended the phone conversation by saying, Brian, don't worry about anything. I'll be praying for you. And Brian laughed, and Brian said, that's it, Kurt. You pray for me, I'll think for you. And I thought...
Science has a law. It's called the third law of thermodynamics, which shows us, and it's one of the most tested laws in science, that matter or energy can neither be created nor destroyed, that we always have the same amount of matter and energy. We could blow up this building, and while it would look completely different, there would be the exact same amount of matter and energy in the universe. That tells us scientifically, if we were to use a more scientific approach, that the components of our world today, our universe, have always existed. And we have real science to lend credence to that. Knowing that, and knowing that the other side of the coin is to create something to explain it away. This is called, in logic terms, an argument from ignorance. Ray doesn't know what created the world, so he's made up a God to tell you that that is what's created the world. Knowing that we have these two options. One thing that we don't have any proof for, that we just make up, and another one that we have this scientific theory, this law actually, that's been tested over and over and over and has never been shown wrong. All signs point to the fact that the universe has just always existed and no God is needed to explain it. And if you're a philosophy buff, you would have heard of this term, Occam's razor. And Occam's razor tells us that the most simplest solution is the most plausible. And in this case, the simplest solution is no God.
Okay, Brian. Do you either want to respond to what he just said?
No.
You don't want to respond?
No, Kirk, do you have anything to say?
No, I think people can figure it out.
But Brian's point that you have this philosophy about having a creator, but it breaks down at the point at which you talk about God. And that's fundamentally inconsistent with the argument that you're making.
If you're going to keep going back to the beginning, you've got to go back all the way and say something's got to be infinite. You keep going back and saying, what made that? What made that? Well, the universe is infinite. But you're going to say, who made the universe? If
nothing.
If God can be infinite, why can't the universe be infinite?
Well, we believe that God is infinite, that He dwells in eternity, and that He's revealed the fact that He has created the universe by speaking it into existence.
But why can't the universe be infinite if God can be infinite?
And you were supposed to bring scientific proof that that's exactly what happened to support your belief, but we haven't seen a shred of it.
We've given you